What's going on, guys? You got Kwasi here for Kwasi Animation Studio and Kwasi Media Network. We're here today to talk about animation and your first steps. Now, excuse me, I've done a video like this before. I was talking about I was using an armature for a Xenoverse 2 model. However, today I want to show you AutoRig Pro, and this model is from Ready Player Me. So you can go to Ready Player Me and create an account there. It's really simple, and you can just start creating characters. However, if you want those characters to speak, those characters, you have to, like click the head, and even this here has shape keys. Even their beard has shape keys. So you would have to click here, but also there's a mouthpiece inside, and you would use the shape keys to have it perform speaking animations or whatnot. But today we're just going to deal with body functions. So I'm going to use two things. One is Blender Kit. I'm going to go on the Blender Kit, make sure I'm logged in. Okay. And I'm going to find a chair or something like that. Okay. So instead of doing it that way, let me just type in chair. I'm going to find a chair for this guy, and we're going to sit him in that chair, and preferably one with arms. I like this, so we'll just go with that one. Hopefully it's not too big. It's 3 megabytes. Good. Okay, so I'll take that chair and I'll slide that chair backward. Okay, so just gonna give him somewhere to sit. Now I know you might say that chair is pretty small, but realistically it's roughly about the right height. Okay, so what I'll do is let me check and make sure that okay, so I'm going to make it a little bigger just for the sake of the tutorial, and then I'm going to go scale. All right, so we have the chair, and roughly most chairs will come right behind the back of your knee. Okay, so this is roughly about pretty decent size. Okay, and then for the sake of it, I'll add a plane so we can have some reference there on the scale of the area that he's sitting in, and this way there's no weirdness there. Okay, and that's pretty much about it. Okay, so we can clearly know his feet are on the ground. I mean, they're going through to some extent, but we're not seeing that part too much. And this is pretty much what you want to do. Now, however, excuse me. So, however, you can do this even with an armature. Okay, so don't think that you have to have a very specific rig. Okay, even though I'm going to be using IK controls for the arms and the legs. If you don't know anything about IK, it allows for, it's called inverse kinematics. Most armatures, well, the default armature is more of a IK, which is forward kinematics. And with IK, what you can do, let's go to local. When you move, the whole entire arm moves, but it has a pole target. So let's say I move this, right? Let's hit 3, and I move this up. Okay, I'll rotate this forward, right? Well, the pole target is here. Now, the pole target allows me to control the angle for which the arm is bent. So basically the elbow. All right. And that's one of the things that we want to make sure that we're make sure that we remember in our animation. Okay, so that's pretty much the gist of that. So we're going to use this rig to just do a simple sit animation, and I'm probably going to add a table. This a table and maybe a cup or something, right? So a reason why I want to do all this on stream rather than have it already set is to show you the process again of world building and figure out how to build a world around your character. So understand your model is where your reference is from. So let's say I put that chair in there and then I made a whole room. But then when I brought the character, I go, oh, the chair's not tall enough because at least this portion of the chair, okay, let's just annotate real quick. This portion of the chair needs to at least come up to here. Because when you stand up, the chair tends to be just below your knee. Okay, so if that's not there, then there's a chance that if that's not there, then there's a chance that you could be dealing with some having to rescale issues, and we don't want you to be constantly rescaling. Okay, so we're going to do something real simple. Like I said, go back to Blender Kit. Blender Kit does have free stuff, so you get free, but I'm using a I'm signed up to a subscription on it, which is pretty cheap. It's only like $10. That's like not the cheapest The cheapest one to me, because then they have one above that is like $11, but it's a one-time payment per month. I just did the $9 for a monthly thing, and that's just to support the creators. Because if you look at this, there are some pretty decent chairs in here, man. Like, and these guys, I mean, come on, this thing looks like a sand pod. I mean, you know, so if I'm gonna give reference to anything. All right, so let's look for ourselves a table. So we can give ourselves a table, something relatively simple. That's fine. I'll use that. Okay, now see, I don't even have to sit here and model the table. I'll click here, and now we're going to push this table to its appropriate position. So I know that the table will roughly be somewhere about here. Okay, the reason why I say that is because when he sits down, his knees won't be touching it. But for the sake of it, I'll just put it right in front of him. All right. Okay, so now let's just look for a cup. All right, so we got some pretty decent ones. All right, let's go with the coffee cup. And I can sit it. Now, this is a beautiful thing. I can actually sit the object. You see that white line hanging off of it? It allows me to place the objects where I want them to be. So now we have a coffee cup in there, and we can place it, and it's placed already in position, and also has a spoon to come with it to a stirrer. Okay, so yeah, we have everything set there, but the thing is I don't want the stirrer to move with the object. So I'm going to click this object, and I'm going to hit Alt P, and then I'm going to clear parent with keep transform, because I want to move this cup. Okay, thing is this cup is attached to, because you see the band, the lid, and the mug, right? So the cup is attached to an empty that's called coffee mug. All right, so I'm going to attach this to the character as a constraint, but it's going to be real simple. But that won't be exactly in this video right now. I just want to start from the beginning. So this is just showing you how to set up pretty much set your scene up to animate in. Okay, so I don't want you to get caught up in the ins and outs and ups and downs of all the little things I'm saying. All right, this is not the same as the animation course that I was doing for you guys. This is a bit different from that. This is just going to show you how to basically build up an environment real quick, like, and then take that and go a little further. So I'm going to go ahead and go over to our move tool. I'm going to be in local with median point and local transform orientation. Okay, so push this down, hit 3 because I want to see it from the side portion. Now understand, you can rotate this. So I'm going to rotate it a little because I want him to sit back. I don't want him to sit forward. All right, and then slowly I'll just move certain parts forward, because again, IK just makes it a little bit more simple. I think I'll rotate this one back. Yeah, let's rotate that one again. Yeah, I like that. And then I'll push this one forward like so. Okay, all right, now I'll grab this wrist, and I'm going to sit his hand close to the edge. One. All right. I'd say don't forget your orientations. I'm sorry, don't forget your where you are. So basically, don't forget to make sure that you understand. Let me rephrase. Don't forget to adjust your character according to where they are. So if you want them to be sitting sideways in the chair or something more comfortable, but always start from the center. So I started here, and then I'm making my way to my hands, then to the legs. Okay, and then maybe to the head also, right? So I'll do likewise here, tilde-4. So tilde-4 allows me to go into the side view, and you can do this with another shortcut, but I'll just do it with the tilde. All right. Okay. I'm sorry if my explanation seemed a little convoluted. I was trying to think about what to say in that moment. Okay, so we're going to deal with the fingers here shortly. I feel like this would be more on the outside of that, kind of chilling to the outside, so I'll have that do something like that a little. Yeah. So I'll just fix the fingers, because it's kind of like having his arms further out. So this is where we now go to the shoulder, and we'll rotate the shoulder forward just a little, and then push it down, because of course the shoulder won't be that high up. Yeah, that makes sense. R rotate, and that's another thing too, is don't forget to hit you can hit rotate, you can hit G for move, and R for rotate. Don't forget that. Now I can grab this and I can have a little bit more control with putting it to the edge here. There we go. Because just now what I did was just do it myself by hand just to see how it would work. Now pole target, see it from the top. Yeah, it'll hang a little bit forward to the front some more. So I'm tripping here. All right. Okay, so we'll. All right, yeah. No, I'm gonna grab the trackball. All right. Not too bad. Okay, so that means also I need to rotate this more to the front. All right, pole target. All right. Okay. I think that's a little too far down to bring it up some. There we go. All right. Don't forget to save. Okay, this shoulder, the same thing. We want to bring it down because it's up too high. He is sitting. And then I think on the pole target here, we'll make sure that his elbow is close to the edge. And again, push it further down. All right. Yeah. Okay. Oh, no, I hit it. I don't want to hide it. All right. You had to watch that H and G. You'll mess around and hit that H. Okay. I don't have any hand poses, so what I'll do, sorry, I kicked my mic. What I'll do is just go ahead and I'll make my hand adjustments accordingly. I'm gonna move one leg pole target. I want this one to sort of be to the edge here. That's a little too far over, I guess. However, his foot, I do want his foot outside of this, but I don't want it to pierce through the thing, so it'll be like sort of like that. There we go. Get close to the edge as possible. There we go. Okay. Here, I think I want it to rotate. Now there is a high key for that, and I'm really big on using the high keys over doing but I think on this one over clicking. But the thing about the high keys, sometimes you mess around and hit play, but you'll go shift space and then you can go between your hotkeys here. So like I can go back up to box select or to the move tool or rotate. This shift space. Okay, so I want to be sideways a little and I want to curl his toe slightly. That also means I have to rotate this one backward. There we go. And push it back down. All right. So now it's piercing through. Don't want that. Let's grab the pole target. Just wanted to lean ever so slightly. There we go. And he's chilling. All right. So got him in his chair. I don't know if he's all the way down. Don't look like it, but let's fix that right now. I'm going to go global because I wanted to go straight down. I'm going to click it and then hit shift and ease it on down. All right. Okay. That works. All right, so we have him in the position we want. I think I want to bring his neck down some. Ooh, his head is locked. I don't like that. Let me go unlock his head. Okay. All righty. Oh, those are arm pins. I don't want to pin his arms. All right. So I know with his coffee, I don't want it to be straightforward because it tends to be sideways sometimes. So let's say, for instance, you're sitting here and I'm left-handed, so I'd probably grab it with my left, right? So what I was thinking is one, I want to zero out this rotation. So let's do that. Zero out the rotation, and I'll turn ever so slightly this way because if I go to pick it up, I'm going to grab it from this side. So I'll grab it from this side. Just annotate. I'll grab it from this side, right? And then once I pick it up, it's just going to arc over to my mouth. So this way I don't have to go figuring out where it's going, pretty much. So that's good. But I also think it's too far back. Oh, that's good right there. I'll move this stir over here, and I'll even turn it ever so slightly. Well, it can be 180 and turn it like that. There we go. Okay, so now we have him sitting, he's chilling in his jacket, just kicking it. Okay, so step one is already done. We got our character pose and position. I do need to fix his hands and get him where I want him to be, because that's going to play a vital part. But what I want, one of the things I do expressly suggest is that you make a pose library for the hands, if nothing else. And even so with the face, also, you don't really have to so much, because it does already have shape keys. If you use something like this here before, whatever model you're using, I don't care if you're using just straight armature, if you're using a control rig, make a pose library for the hands. Do whatever variations you can. Do something with your own hands and just look at it and say, okay, I'm gonna rotate the fingers that way, and just keep it as simple as possible. Okay, so let's go local. All right. Just something simple. Another thing is don't forget to flex your wrist every so often when you're doing this, so you don't start having issues with your hands, because it will start to happen. The more intense you get, the more intent you get, the more things you start to put together, the more you'll realize just how much your hands are taking a hit from doing it. So don't forget to do that. Just to give them a break here and there. All right, that's cool with me. I do feel like this finger is still out too far, but you could go in some more. All right. And this one, I think I'll just rotate it in a little. All right. And again, make your decisions based on reality and based on what you've been able to see yourself. Caricature animation, like the cartoony animation, the stuff that most people are really going after, is fine, but don't forget to still root some of it in reality. Because most people are going after cartoon animation, they're not really doing realistic animation. All right, there we go. Okay, now I'm going to turn the texture on. I'm going to come up here into the viewport shading and go texture. And yeah, so models like this here have a texture ability to do texture stuff. So I'll just have him kind of looking down a little bit. And let's turn off the overlay. And there we go. He's sitting there chilling, looking all like, what is happening with my life? Okay, so I have a camera in here. So let's go to the camera and let's play with the positioning. I don't think that's too bad. Let's turn some lights on in here. I think if I turn everything on, I'm gonna have to wait a second for some of these other things, like the table and the chair. Their light isn't on yet. I'm going to get rid of that red light. That was for the thumbnail, if you couldn't tell. So the red light is this one. All right. I think also I'll take this light and put it above. So the Alt G, and then push it upward. Oh, what happened? It went underneath. All right. and pull it forward a little bit, and there we go. So now it's pretty bright, so I'm gonna bring it down to like 320, and now we have a decent light. All right, cool. Grab the camera again, and I think this shouldn't be too bad right here. Yeah, it's not too bad. Yeah, that's not too bad. Let's see what it looks like in the render. Hit F12. Yeah, not too bad. I mean, personally, if I want to make the scene look a little bit more, you know, jazzed up, I do a lot more things to it. But nonetheless, I'm gonna go back into this mode. We're gonna turn the lights back off and the camera setup. Okay. So he's set up. So that is video 1. The next video, we're gonna start dealing with animating the actual shot and then constraining, learning how to, because of course we're gonna have to do some switching. Okay. So in doing the switch, that means that I'm gonna have to have it where it's not constrained and then go and constrain it. But that also means that we have to figure out the best way to go about doing this. So since I'm left-handed, I'll make him left-handed. So he's going to reach out with his left hand here. Okay, so he's going to reach out with his left hand here. All right, and then once he reaches out, he's got to lean forward. So that means that we need to really start from our hips here. Okay, so we'll start from the hips, and then once he leans forward, this hand will likely slide back, so it'll probably come up along the arm of the chair. So it's just a matter of finding the pace for that and then executing on that. So with that being said, man, I hope that helps someone. Like I said, this is just the first video, so we're going to go ahead and bring another one back. This isn't necessarily a course. I just want to give people an idea of how to set up their scene and prep for the next thing. So if we were to go through, so that means we're going to start keyframing and whatnot. So if you already went through the animation course, if you looked at some of the other videos, you'll clearly know how I go about working with the keyframes and setting up animation. Now with this one, there's going to be one major difference. Is on this one we're going to be dealing a lot with the graph editor, so you're going to get a chance to see how fewer frames could actually work out in your favor over doing a lot of extra frames. So of course we're going to hit our dynamic poses, and then we're going to find our middle space. So the middle space is really going to be more about the graph rather than adding keyframes. All right, so we're going to go from there, and then I definitely make sure that you guys can get a good breakdown on that, and I'll speak only when it's necessary, because I don't want to stumble about. I really want you to see what I'm doing, so I will tell you what I'm doing, execute, and then explain. Okay, so with that being said, man, I hope this helps someone. Nothing but love, and thank you for showing up. And don't forget, hit the like button, man, and leave a comment. There's nothing wrong with leaving a comment, even if you just throw a thumbs up, just to let me know that you've seen the content and that it was okay to you. Nothing but love.